Live. We should be live. Oh, wait. I think we are. Yeah, we are. Say something.
Are you sure?
Say something offensive, Dan. Then
Are we
we'll know.
are we live? Are we live DJs? Is that what we are?
No.
They're having a live DJ.
Okay.
I feel live.
And you look it too. So you've got that going for you. Yeah. We're here. Good evening, everyone. If you have not gotten enough talk of photo booth tonight, we're going to have the whole time dedicated to, well, not photo booth.
This is my photo booth, everyone.
We had some good information and some good ideas. There are actually a few things that we talked about, and that's just like,
like the one I mentioned, I never even thought about lowering and hiring the height of the things for special events like sporting events with tall people or handicapped people needing it down lower. I never would have thought of that in a million years, and having being so necessary, so I thought that was cool. Yeah, if you're not watching this stuff, you need to start watching more than just our show. Our show's awesome, but there's other awesome ones out there too. And
with the shows, the photo booth shows, we've got another week. We'll be doing some of the vendors and such from Expo. Yes, they're going to be talking about the products, and yes, you're going to be talking, but part of what I'm doing in this is I want to try to dig in and get some information that's going to help you, even if you're not using their products, is the idea that planning guide, whatever his planning guide was, you can create your own or you can buy his for the $97. But obviously a planning guide, he's utilizing that at bridal shows very, very successfully. So now whatever that means to you in your business could be gold if you can implement the idea, whether it's buying his and modifying it or making your own. So good stuff. Good stuff. That Jimmy, he just can't type.
I would like to say, before we get into tonight's topic, that right after the show last week, one of our loyal viewers sent me a little message and said, wow, you guys get off topic really easily. So tonight's topic is about a census that is put on by Digital DJ Tips, and it covers pretty much everything in the DJ world. So unless we stop talking about DJing, there's not a big chance we're going to get off topic tonight because we're going to.
So did you guys?
No, I got a question because you said it was a loyal listener, and they're just now making that observation.
Yeah, you're just finally catching on.
Yeah. That's the entire show's based around the ability for us to tangent and then never remember how we got there.
Okay, did you guys see that video that was starting to circulate today from Bruno Mars when he was 6 years old?
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy.
If you didn't get a chance to see that, if you're a DJ and TV insider, I posted it in there. Just a really cool video of him as a 6-year-old, and it's you're looking at him and it's like, oh my god, it really is him. I mean, there have been times where people
he grew like 2 inches from then.
Exactly, and he trimmed his hair, but that's about the extent of it. Otherwise, it's
But I was watching it. It reminded me very much of like a young Michael Jackson because it's like there's him, and then there's like all the adults like are performing, and it was like
there's a little.
It's like we're gonna make money off this kid.
Oh, exactly. I'd really like to see where are they now with the family and such. Where's the older brother that was playing the drums in the video? It's still there. Is in jail somewhere. Mom and dad. Or where. But it was a cool video. So if you guys get a chance, you need to check that out. Not that we were going to go on a tangent or anything, but okay.
Here's John, hand on the wheel. Just a little bit to the right. Now we're bringing it back.
Oh, yeah. So,
all right. So tonight's topic is the census, and they do this every year, and they ask all kinds of questions to DJs to fill out the census. I fill it out every year, and I actually can see some of the questions where I'm like, yes, I answered that way, and I'm like, nope, I'm in the lower. I'm not in the popular part of of that equation. But it's kind of neat to look at the numbers that come out, and we're gonna talk through it, and there are slides that they put out. And we're going to talk about each one, and we're going to see where each of us fit in there, where we agree with it, disagree with it. We can't really disagree with it. I mean, it's actual numbers, unless they fudge the numbers, which is entirely possible.
Alternative facts.
Alternative facts. That's the word for tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Isn't that what we were going for?
I guess. I don't know. But like I said, they're really good. Are we all ready to start this? And discuss?
We are.
Sure. Let's jump right in. Let's not waste time tonight.
Okay. And we are sharing, correct?
There we are.
Okay. This is the countries. They asked them, what country do you currently reside in? And believe it or not, I know for a fact that they said that they work with over 52 countries around the world. And we populate probably the biggest part of their audience then, it appears that way. They are from the UK, but apparently there are more of us Yanks watching. But it covers kind of the world. And this is something that I observe, and I know that I'm older than everyone here, but for some reason my mind works in a much different way than most people's. But,
yeah. Grandpa over there.
No, I think more like the millennials do, to where I don't see a US and a UK in all of this. I just see with the internet, we're all DJs. I don't care where you're from, we're DJs. We still deal with drunk people making stupid requests. I don't care what country you're in, what type of music you're playing. Are we not all fighting off stupid requests? Is it me? I don't know.
No, not us. Not in Minnesota. We don't have stupid requests.
None at all.
Not at all. No. They're all great country songs.
Brilliant people out there.
Wait,
That's
John,
right.
you can't use those two words together.
Great country songs, like I was saying.
You can't use great and country together unless you're talking about country fried steak, and then that's awesome. There's my. Next one on here is age. Where do you all fit into this? Because they said the majority of the people are 25 to 34, but there is a large population, 18 to 24 and 35 to 44. So that kind of, how does that feel with an audience that we deal with on a Monday night when we're trying to talk about Bruno Mars at 6 years old?
Well, that means he'd be in the top category.
Yeah, Bruno.
At one point, yeah. I kind of question this because I think there's a lot more younger DJs than are represented here. So I think there's a lot of cats who just DJ at home, play around, goof around, which they actually get into that number later of what type of DJ you are. But I don't know. I don't know if I agree with this. That this represents the true number of DJ.
Well, my thought is that in a lot of aspects, you've got people, like you said, who play around and do different things like that. But I think a lot of people who would be on this and looking for advice and, looking and reaching out are the ones that are probably playing in places that are going to be paying or working their way to a paying type of event soon.
I'm glad you said that, Dan, because there's going to be a statistic soon that's going to make you feel real kind of dumb.
Well, no, because I know the statistic you're talking about because you send these to us, but what I'm getting at is I feel like the people that are on these sites for the most part are kind of working their way maybe towards that, and so therefore you're not going to have a whole lot of teenagers playing elsewhere.
So MJ, just to give you a comparison to the stats on our Facebook, the Disc Jockey News Facebook page, which was the largest one.
That's different there too, but go ahead.
So our under 17 calculates out to be 2% of our audience. Then the 18 to 24 and the 25 to 34 basically account for about 60% of our audience.
Which age group again? Say that age group.
The next two age groups. So that'd be the 18 to 24 and the 25 to 34 is 60%. And those are both equal.
Okay.
And then we have a noticeable drop. We lose about 10% going to the 35 to 44. And the 45, we lose another 10% going to 45 to 50. And then it just continues to dwindle as we go up. So I guess the part that I'm seeing differently on our Facebook page is that 35 to 44 number. Theirs is fairly even. I'm going to call it even in what they're showing there in the people that are responding to this survey. It's definitely our Facebook page is not representing that, which means that I'm wondering if the people in that age group just took the survey a little more seriously, and in essence would have had a higher percentage of those from that age groups doing it compared to the two age groups under that.
If they have a higher number than we do, or we have a higher number in them in that age group.
I don't think it's a higher number. I think it might be a higher percentage of the people who responded, if that makes sense.
Because I have an opinion. I've said this before, and this is where we shall begin to offend people. But I always say, and this, you can disagree with this. I'm perfectly okay with everyone disagreeing with this. But the majority of the DJs I've ever known in my entire life don't intend on being wedding DJs.
Right.
they do that because they can't get a gig at the other one, or like me, who am getting older and can't get the younger gigs. I that's, that's my view of the old young, and why our numbers might be a little bit skewed, because the majority of ours are wedding DJs or mobile DJs. We'll just say mobile. And it's a little different mindset than someone, because you'll see some of the stats later, everybody, that you'll look at some of the ages and what they do compared to what they want to do is the thing that I thought was funny. So age is age. Age is just a number, right? Right. I think
it would also be interesting to see if we were able to see like what John did and take their Facebook numbers or their YouTube subscribe numbers and see how that correlates there, because there's a big difference between, in my viewpoint at least, there's a big difference between who's going to take a survey versus who's going to follow a certain group. The more questions you have, the more a younger audience is going to be like, screw it, I'm not filling this out. It's taking too long.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think the younger audience, I mean, I know a lot of under 18, especially high school kids that quote unquote are saying that, they're DJs. So I think that number definitely is a lot bigger than it is, but I don't see them, taking the survey. I don't see them even wanting to do anything like that, unless it has something to do with a YouTube song. I don't see them going online for any of that.
Yeah, precisely.
Abso-smurfly.
So even to have their respondents that high is actually very, very surprising.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the age thing. Like I said, there's some other ones here I think are pretty crazy. How often do you play in public? Never played in public. That's a big number, in my opinion. For DJs, never played in public. Occasionally parties of friends and family. Play in public every now and then and on a regular basis. So there's a large portion that do not play on a regular basis. If you just look at that as an accumulative number, the majority of people do not play out on a regular basis with this thing. And I thought that was kind of interesting, especially those who never play in public. Would you expect that much? Thoughts?
No, definitely not. I mean, it's a lot of bedroom DJs, I guess, that are calling themselves DJs that are just playing at home.
Yeah. There's people online. I have a friend who does a one night a week. He does an online mix where you can text him or send him requests, and he does it live every week. So, I mean, he does other gigs out, but there's a lot of guys who do stuff like that. That's why I say when I talk about our numbers, because even though that we are partially educational and we are partially informational, the news, what we do in the news thing is marketing one way or another, trying to get people to pay attention to us, to our stories, to our videos, etc. And I think that's why I always say, I think there is a huge number of that never played in public. Yeah. Or occasionally parties for friends and family that we as Disc Jockey News can reach. That's how I see that. Because I just know there's a lot of people because Shani, how many times a night when you're out at an event where people come up and talk to you, go, I'm a DJ too.
And I'm like, great, it's Saturday night. I'm here. I'm working. Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah, my friends and I always have that question. It's like, oh, where do you spin at?
Right. I ask that all the time.
Yeah. Try to get the reaction. Oh, well, nowhere, but
I mean, there's, and so can I request song?
Yeah. So I thought that was very neat, that number. I don't know why that just really caught me and went, I can see that. All right. What's your main DJ setup? There's some big numbers for that all-in-one controller using a laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
that surprised me, but
that's huge now. Yeah,
but I have an issue with the very first category.
Nothing's still looking, but you're a DJ.
Those are the people who go on this one. Never played in public, and I don't have anything, but I want to be a DJ. That's why I'm filling this questionnaire out, because I want to be a DJ. There is a lot that's represented within that.
They have some music. They have a free software program. They're playing around, but they don't know what to do yet. But they're so-called calling themselves probably the bedroom DJ right now.
But I would look at that and go, that's laptop then.
No. They don't even have software yet.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, that would be my thought.
They
So
don't have anything. They want to be a DJ.
you got to really, I'm looking at this. I'm like, you got to really want to like call yourself this the fact I have an issue. Why would you fill out a survey? Like,
Dan is so funny about this. I love that he's like on this. Like, why would you do this if you're not a DJ?
like, why wait? I
so
didn't even
here's
fill
my-
this thing
here's
out.
my
I got like
question.
4 emails going, please fill this out. No.
All right, Dan, here's my question.
Yeah.
And MJ, here you go. So it says nothing yet, still looking, which I know Dan has a problem with that. What would the other be for you guys? If you look at in chat room, chime in on this. If you're looking at all the categories here, you know, if you guys can't see because you haven't had LASIK yet, you know, laptop phone. It says nothing yet, still
Watch
looking.
it full screen.
Is the top one, and then it says laptop only.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
I totally forgot. I
Yeah.
can.
All right, wait,
Yeah.
go up. Wait, go back up.
Oh, there's
I'm
words on
reading
that
them.
page.
I'm reading them. Okay, laptop only. Then it says all-in-one controller. Then it says all-in-one controller. I'm sorry. The first one is using the laptop using the USB drive. Laptop with sound card with the controller. CDJs like in a club. Then your iPad, iPhone, Android, smartphone. Yeah. Then all of that plus a sound card. Oh my God.
I thought
Then
this,
then digital software DVS. Then pure vinyl. What would other be for everybody in the chat room and here? What would you guys think other
Tapes.
is?
Shane,
That
I'm
would-
so disappointed. The Fisher Price turntable.
don't make me go upstairs and get it.
Look, if somebody has that, bring it to
Other
Mumblebee.
that's all designed for you. Rocking the Fisher
That's
Price.
me. So the
turntable.
other is me filling that one out. See, and I didn't think about running my Fisher Price turntable with my T-Pain microphone.
Well, could other be someone who rents out equipment? Can you?
Well, what's
consider
your
yourself
main-
a DJ if you just rent speakers to other DJs?
No, because the question
Yeah.
says, what's your main DJ setup?
So if you're renting it, that would be what you're using.
Right.
You're not running it. Dan. You're the DJ. I'm renting speakers to you, but I'm filling out this survey.
Sean said, could be triangle and tin cans.
Nice.
I would just say cowbell. It would just be a cowbell.
got a fever, and there's only one cure.
Beatboxing for
cowbell.
3 hours. It's like, that baffles me. If you're saying nothing's still looking as the top one, what would other be?
And that other's bigger than nothing yet looking.
Right. So what would, I'm really like, I
Some
would
people
love
probably
to
just
know.
didn't know what to put, so they put
Right.
like for fear that somebody would like ask them more questions. I don't want to say I'm not going to do anything, so I'm going to put other.
I think I know
Mark's
what other is. Go ahead, John.
Mark's, the other is showing up in beatboxing, but they're doing it with a megaphone.
But that's not a DJ. That's not a DJ setup.
I think other is something like what is it? Called the machine or Korg MPC or something like that. Because there's a lot of cats that DJ with stuff that has nothing to do with turntables, but do whole nights on beat drumming and different things like
Okay,
that.
so Ableton, like you said,
Mini disc.
And Howie said the basement system that John showed for name would be the system that people would be other.
Boombox.
Yeah.
That could.
It just gets me, like, if they're saying nothing's still looking and other, like, to me, that, I don't know.
that's a portion of the people though.
Yeah.
And look how much bigger it is than pure vinyl,
Well, right. Well, nowadays.
because vinyl's making a comeback. So that's going to be like twice as big
We
next year.
went through this number earlier this year, those of you who don't know. And if you look at the actual numbers of album sales of actual vinyl compared to an actual digital sale, it's less than 8%. So it's up 300% to become less than 8%. So whatever. All right. So there's
Other.
more.
John, by the way, what is your artwork tonight? Because I didn't have LASIK
Ringo
yet
Starr,
either.
Goodnight Vienna, and unfortunately they can't see it. It's just off the edge of the screen, so
Oh, okay.
I've got to bring it forward. So
Here, I'll unshare for a second.
there it
There.
is.
Oh, there we go.
Ringo Starr, Goodnight Vienna. This is actually one of those albums that you grow up with as a child because your parents play it.
I still want to do a show where we all bring the worst vinyl that we own. Dan said he can't join in on it. So maybe we'll let him do a CD or a tape, or maybe we should all just bring out our
When you say worst vinyl?
Like
What do you-
my
is
friends and I did a thing earlier a couple years ago, and we are tangenting, but we'll come back to it. Is that we had to post of I can't believe I own this vinyl.
Oh, okay.
Why do
It's the I can't believe I owned it, or I can't believe I had to play this all the time.
Why do I have it? Why do I own
yeah.
this? sort of thing.
Like, why do I have I won't even say it. Okay, yes. Yeah. Yes.
All right, so back to
Okay.
Okay, so what's the next one?
Which of these sites do you visit at least once a week? I honestly wrote in Disc Jockey News because I told you I could see which ones I eschew, so I'm part of the other.
Okay.
But because it's digital DJ tips, I'm sure people said, oh yeah, this one. But I know for a fact a while back on this channel, we had another person on this show, or I was at least on a show with another person. I don't remember which it was. And I listed all of these DJ websites, and that person didn't know any of them.
Didn't know any of these sites, you mean?
At all. Never heard of any of them. And I went at that point there. I'm going, what in heaven's name?
So let's keep this up for a minute so people in the chat room, if they want to write them down or type them or whatever, that they can actually
see that emergency Zoom on here. Mix Mag is one of the oldest DJ magazines ever. It's wonderful. It's out of the UK, but it covers worldwide stuff. You can buy it in the US at your local newsstand if you want to. It's quite expensive. I had a subscription to it for a while. You can get it digital. It's really great. It covers a lot of stuff. It mainly focuses on EDM, but it does cover a little bit of everything. Your EDM, they come up with some very what's that one? A show where they do all the news stories about the celebrities.
TMZ?
Hollywood Buzz?
Your EDM is very TMZ, where they will lead you in with something.
Donahue Show?
Like Daft Punk ruined, what'd he say?
He said nothing. He owes us $1 for that one. He's not going to, no, I'm not even going to repeat that.
Well, we were talking about good shows.
Yeah, good shows. Okay. That's going to show his age range in that question now. What's your age range?
Your EDM will come up with a headline like Daft Punk just ruined their own lives. And look, they come up with one this week, actually. Daft Punk, why did you break our hearts? And what it was they put out new Daft Punk merchandise at a very high price. So that was their lead in Daft Punk, why did you break our hearts? So that's what kind of stuff you find from your EDM. Thump and Vice, I watch all kinds of stuff on Vice. They have great documentaries about everything.
Yeah.
Resident Advisor is a good one. There's really good news stories in Resident Advisor, if you've never viewed that. And I mean like article written news stories.
So you're saying you read it for the articles?
I'm saying that's pretty much all there is articles.
Shaney got the joke. I'm sorry.
I'm around guys all the time. So back in the day. So yes, I got the joke.
Yeah, I got it. I'm ignoring it. That's it. I get to ignore Hans, and now I ignore Dan. So Shaney, you have to come up with something here in a minute. I have to ignore. All right. So which of these best describes your DJ style?
Multi-genre mixing DJ, multi-genre personality DJ, single genre mixing. Okay.
Multi-genre mixing DJ would be open format, like top 40.
Okay. I'm like, you're gonna have to explain this to me because I don't know which one.
Multi-genre personality would be like a wedding DJ where you spend a probably equal amount of time talking on the mic, joking with the crowd, announcing things. Single genre mixing would be just an EDM DJ, just a hip hop DJ, just a reggae DJ. And other would be the person who doesn't own equipment, has never DJ'd out in public, but wants to fill this out and be considered a DJ.
They're sitting
trying to win something. It's trying to win something.
So multi-genre to me is kind of like what Shaney and I do when we're doing like clubs or corporate events. You spend a lot of time more on the mic at the corporate events and stuff than you do like at the clubs.
Not really. My boss does. I try to get away from that. I try to just not even use the voice of God mic at all. Like that's what I call it. Cause you're in the back. So like, he'll get on and be like, hey everybody, how we at? No, I try not to do it. That's why they like me over him. Shh.
But the multi-genre is the majority of us. Any thoughts there? I think it's pretty simple.
Pretty simple, yeah.
Other. I like other.
To be honest, I expected more single. I expected more single genre.
As a person who spent up until 2005 spinning only EDM, it's really hard to make a living at one style of music nowadays.
But based upon some of the other things that we've seen so far,
I would say the single are probably the 18-year-old ones that filled it out. That probably matches what the young generation was.
But even that never played in public, like.
Yeah, I have a friend in Texas.
Yeah, I agree. Like they're either like all hip hop or all. No, I totally agree with you that's all they really know how to mix.
Yeah. Or that's all they want to claim. Because I know people who say they only spin EDM just so that they keep in that EDM crowd, and the EDM crowd respects them, but they do other parties for cash because it's money.
Right.
They don't want to be seen as anything but that.
Right.
All right, moving on. Which DJ download pool do you subscribe to? The one that I subscribe to is not on here. John, we have some sponsors in here, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I have a couple that might. Yeah.
I don't belong to any of these.
There's at least,
but I have stuff from most of them.
I think there's probably 3 or 4 that I think are legit in there for surely.
Legit. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I belong to a couple of those. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's at least 3 in there that I see that I know are not legit companies.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. I would
And
also
then the other is YouTube.
I would thank you.
Others, I rip it from YouTube. What? That's wrong. I mean, they got everything.
Yeah, I played off of Shazam,
Yeah.
Played off Sam. Yeah.
Pandora.
Oh my gosh! Don't make me punch someone. Can you just YouTube it? I will punch you in the throat. Any questions there? Chat room, how you guys doing tonight? We're at the midpoint right now in our night.
Yeah, especially you guys have asked us numerous occasions about DJ pools. So, I mean, this definitely can help you guys out with.
And this is actually kind of a telling little grid here, is that in the mobile DJ world, you've got the companies that have been going to shows, Promo Only, ERG, Prime Cuts, and Top Hits USA. Top Hits USA, which was one of the originators of the music for the mobile DJ world, isn't even here. It's RPM Top Hits USA. Promo obviously is there because they've really put a lot of money and things into this. This is going to change in the next 2 to 3 years, as unfortunately as it may seem. Is I think in a couple of years you're going to see Promo Only 4th or 5th maybe on this list.
You and I had talked about just a couple of days ago, John, about how that originally some of the money that was being paid into by Promo Only and other legal sites was supposed to go to fighting the illegal sites, and you were saying how that hasn't happened. Yeah,
the idea was some of these companies, they started out, and again the ones that we've been talking about, they were doing it for promotional purposes, and they weren't really paying a fee back to the companies, to the music labels. And the labels, of course, they're looking to get money out of every angle they can. So they like, hey, can you get a kickback? And the companies have decided, promo, prime cuts and such, they're doing that now. Their thought, i.e. the promo and prime cuts and such, were thinking that's, okay, we're going to pay them this money and maybe they'll do some enforcement and shut down some of those companies. And so there's some of the bigger ones on that list to shut them down because they're illegally distributing music. Unfortunately, that did not happen. So that these companies that are trying to play by the rules are now spending money that they weren't spending before. They're not getting as much of a market share because they're now having to compete with companies that are illegal. I mean, and as much as I hate to say this, if you guys had a music collection, you could take that music collection, rip that music collection, put it on a server in France. You could sell that thing back to the U.S. As long as you were taking Bitcoin, you could be making probably $1 million before the end of the year.
Yeah.
And there's no way that if you do it right, that they could track you. And I know that this is... that's the world we live in right now. And what's the sad part about it is that there's so many DJs who'd be like, oh my gosh, look at all this music I can buy for $99 one time and I get a gazillion songs for $99. And it would line up at the door to spend it. And if it wouldn't be for the tough conversion between PayPal and Bitcoin, if it was easy to do, you would see tons of it. So instead you've got the companies that are having to try to hide domestically or hiding and having different things and the payment structure and how they're doing all these different things. And yet the labels aren't shutting them down like the intent was. So it's kind of a sad thing. And I think you're going to see in the next couple of years a major change. You're not seeing Top Hits USA and Prime Cuts investing as much money supporting the mobile beat shows and such, and Promo's coming into that same realm. Promo has a very aggressive music video division, which helps them tremendously. If they were just living off their music playback, they would be getting killed. But even that is getting tighter because almost every video you can find it somewhere and download it if you wanted to. Heck, YouTube, you can download most videos now if you really go looking. So
here's my prediction. You know how I always like to do predictions?
Mm-hmm.
My prediction is that within the next 2 years, YouTube will offer a download service from YouTube.
A real one.
A real music video download service that will be that will also include what some of the other companies like SoundCloud are doing, where it is profit sharing with the song and the person doing the remix. So if I do a remix, I can put it on YouTube. The person's song is, let's say I do a Bruno Mars remix, that Bruno Mars is going to get all the money from that sale, and I might get a couple of things for putting my remix out there. I bet they're going to do something like that, because they're looking at every single place that they can get money for the artists. Everything. Facebook is talking about legalizing, letting you put on music on your page live, and it not be pulled down, and it be included, because they're going to do mid-video commercials, money to artists, and let you put stuff up like that. So I really think that whole thing where TV used to not have a whole lot of commercials, or commercials at the top of the hour back in like the 50s and 60s, and then it's constant commercials, or when you paid for cable, those of you old enough to remember when cable, there was no commercials. That's why would I pay for TV? It's free. Well, no commercials. Well, now there's commercials constantly. So it's going to be the same model for the music, I think, to where you're going to be able to get it however you want. There's going to be commercials, and it's going to be easier.
Yeah.
So that's my prediction. But if I'm wrong, hey, who cares?
I find it funny that you make the prediction that they're going to be able to download it when you say in other predictions where everything's going to be completely streaming. Like everything's going to be streaming. We're going to buy a subscription service and going to be streaming. We're going to play from streams.
That's where the thing that I hit both sides of the fence, that I can't decide whether it's going to be more, because I do believe that there are DJ mindsets and DJ hearts who like to curate a collection of music. So I think you are going to have a large portion of them who don't just want it to be out there and play it when they play it. So that's why I'm on both sides of the fence there, because I do believe that there's for many years, I think there's still the whole mindset. I think DJs are going to continue to want to curate their own library, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. And Reggie, I'm staying on topic. Yeah.
I was just feeling the urge to go off on a tangent, but I'm not sure now if I can.
Yeah. Tangent is the next one, which is, do you subscribe to a download pool? Ooh, they say no, but all these people getting music from the other ones, how do they get music from them if they don't subscribe to them? So where do all these people get music from if none of them subscribe?
Maybe if you click no, you didn't answer the other question.
That's very true. It might have clicked no and it didn't go. So that might have been a subset of, or that group was a subset of the yes.
Yeah.
I think that was an individual question. I'm pretty sure it was. But I still believe that that's very true, because DJs, I have friends who pay legal DJ fees for subscription places, and they all split the cost of it and then just distribute the songs out amongst each other.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know people that do that too.
So, moving on. What is your gender? I think this is very representative of our show.
So wait, we're 90% male.
Is there even percentage of female, or is that? I mean, was there? Is that
we
a
got
percentage?
you, and then we got Robin in the chat room.
I know, but is that even a percentage, or is that just us being a green person?
Represented in paper form only. No. I think it's growing. If you look at a lot of the live festivals, they book ladies all the time.
Yes, they do.
Yep.
Because that gets guys to show up. I'm sorry, Shani, don't hate me.
Why? Please, I don't hate you for saying that.
She works it. What are you talking about?
Right. I'm like, I don't hate you at all for saying that.
Okay. Should we go on? Because I feel that more I say, I'm going to get.
Yeah, probably. You don't want to start offending that 4%.
I'm not offending anybody. It's an observation that, like I've said before, I don't understand what. The only thing that I could come up is why there's more men than women in this is because that DJs, we all think we're super cool, and the ladies know the real thing and go, okay, you're not that cool. You're this is the real deal. You need to get a real job. That's my opinion. They see it something, because I couldn't tell you how many times people go, so do you work a real job? On. What percentage of your income comes from DJing? Dan, here's your number.
Oh, you asked me to figure it out?
No. There's your number. We talked before about
yeah.
stuff. What's the biggest percentage of all of them?
Under 10.
0 and 10, yeah.
Very close to zero. So a large portion of the people who filled this out make no income from DJing. None. Does that surprise you?
Well, those are the bedroom DJs.
Yeah, so they're out there. They're in Florida.
Oh, they're
doing it for a bar tab.
That's the ones doing their friend's party. That's the ones that are
I just saw a guy, swear to goodness, Dan, who needed an opening DJ, and he said, "I need an opening DJ for Friday. All my regulars are booked. I'll buy you 4 beers and give you $20."
Yeah, and I bet you he got somebody.
There were several that clicked in. I know there was a place years ago that it was a really big club that I wanted to be a part of, and I was the opening DJ on nights that I was off. I had it scheduled once a month. I go in as an opening DJ for a bar tab, which basically meant to me 2 Red Bulls and 2 waters. But it got me put on flyers for really big flyers, a lot of advertisement for that. So, but 0%. So, John, as a person who makes a living off of this and educates people who want to make or are currently making a large living off of it, what do you see here?
Well, this is something that isn't surprising, that you look at from the people who are making 24% on up. You're only looking at what 20% of the market, 25% of the market, roughly. Mm-hmm. Such a small portion. What's surprising to me is that this information is probably very accurate, and you've got digital DJ tips that's going to a full training income model, that they are not taking advertising, that digital DJ tips feels that within that 20% or 25% that there is enough potential income, which means that they're trying to figure a way to jump into that 11% group or the under 10% group to aim their marketing and their educational materials. In our particular case, we're probably targeting or we're hitting those people who are somewhere between that 25 and 50% of their income is accurate. Because when you look at someone who has a full-time, when I was teaching back in the day, I was making $30-some thousand a year, and DJing I was probably making about that or a little bit less. So I would have been in that 50 percentile myself.
To go back to the male-female thing, because I think we need to hit this. Mm-hmm. Janie, Peter, the Hubcap dude in the chat room said,
yeah,
DJs were out working and didn't have time to fill out the survey. Good one.
Bonus points for him. Bonus points for him for saying that.
I had to bring that in because I thought that was one.
That's awesome. I love it.
But it still goes back to what I said at the beginning about that. I think there's a lot of people out there who. I actually had a guy say this to me. Gosh, was it in the 90s? It was in the late 90s. And he said that you do 5 nights a week, because I think I was 5 nights a week then at this one place. He goes, you do 4 or 5 nights a week what other people dream their whole life to do once.
Yeah.
I've had dudes walk up into the booth and go, how can I be you? How can I do what you are doing? And I'm like, there's a long road, real long road. But I think that there is a large number of people out. This is another way I tell people to look at it. Look at it like guitarist. How many people every day of the week go, I want to learn to play guitar, and go out and buy a guitar and try to take lessons or something. It's the same thing. Somebody wants to do something, and that's a large portion of the people. And I say we rake them for every penny we can now. I'm sorry. Okay, next we're moving on. What music do you play? Choose 3. All right, hip hop and R&B, EDM, big room house. Which if you don't know EDM culture, there are thousands of subgenres, and if you dare crisscross them, you will be stuck up on a hook. There is big room house, there is deep house, there is tech house on this, but we have pop, techno, drum and bass, chill out, trance, ska and reggae, Latin, and other. So where on this list is crap country?
Other.
I don't even think it represents other. No. Sorry, had to go there. I think that's right.
Where's John's polka?
Yeah. This is just obviously this quiz or this survey is so off. The number of people who are into polka, way
But my
high.
question is here is we have 40-some%.
Huge.
We have 40-some% in hip hop and R&B, just under 40% in big room house, just under 40% in deep house. That's a whole lot more than 100%, isn't it, Dan?
Well,
Yeah, but you choose up to 3.
up to 3, and you got those kids who are busy playing in their closet. You know, they play a song.
So you
and-
could. So by the end, if you add them all up, you should be around 300%.
Cool. Thoughts on this? Anyone?
And again,
I was actually kind of surprised with the multi-genre. I would have expected. I don't know. For some reason, in my head, I was thinking pop would have been a little bit higher when you're choosing 3.
I think if this would be exclusively a U.S. thing compared to a European thing, I think there's a definitely difference. If this would be broken down by age group, I think we would see a definite difference. So
Remember, the majority of the people who filled this out were from the U.S.
right, and that the question I have with that is, I wonder if the U.S. ones were younger, and the UK would have been a little bit older demographic, where your 20 somethings and early 30 something in the UK are closer to the early 20 and teen performers here in the U.S. because of that passion for that kind of club music.
This is what I think it is. If someone asked me, what do you spin? I would mutter under my breath, pop music, but I love house music all night long. So I think that's kind of that sort of thing. It
could have been, yeah.
Because if I filled this out, I probably would have, if I'm correct on how I filled it out, I probably went pop. I don't know if I went pop, hip hop, and R&B, and big room house. I think, even though I rarely play big room house, but it would have been that. I think wouldn't have been techno, wouldn't have been drum and bass or trap or anything like that. I probably would pick pop. Not deep house either.
You had to choose up to 3. Doesn't mean you had to choose 3.
Yeah, so I don't know, Shani, what?
Yeah,
on these lists?
that's just really hard for me because I'm open formats. I'm playing everything.
Yeah.
I would probably just to do it, I'd probably do EDM, hip hop, R&B, and trap.
No pop? Sweatshirt.
Okay, well, those are my mobile events. I'm not thinking mobile. I was
So
thinking club.
is Pitbull Latin? Is Pitbull
Pitbull.
pop?
See?
Is Pitbull
That's
hip
what I'm
hop and
saying.
R&B?
I
There's your
can't-
3 categories, all with one artist.
I can't pick 3. I can't pick 3 with my.
Some people would say Pitbull is pop because as soon as that song crosses over on the pop charts, people say it is pop. I have a friend who actually one night I was playing a couple Latin songs and threw in Pitbull, and he goes, "Why did you play another Latin song?" And I'm like, "It's top 40 Pitbull." And someone else would go, "Well, the BPM's over 120, so it's EDM."
Unless you're doing the Spanglish version.
English version. Yes.
Then you're in the Latin set now.
So that's a tricky question here.
That's hard for me to fill out if I could only choose 3. Like, it'd be different if I was choosing it for my mobile events, because that would be then pop.
It's the same thing when it's the same thing when what's her name? Taylor Swift. How many people argue she's a country artist? She hasn't been a country artist for years, but people still argue that she's a country artist.
Right.
That would be like saying Darius Rucker, the music he puts out now is pop rock. You know,
and he's country, right?
And just because he was in a band, that played pop rock at one point, it's that sort of thing. So I know it's interesting.
Yeah.
We'll move on. We can revisit these later if anybody wants. Which of these do you have and use regularly? Now, this one I thought was interesting. The biggest was Windows, desktop, and laptop. And in my mind, answering this question, I would presume they're asking, what do you DJ with? But I'm going to guess that people...
They just want to know on a regular basis, I think.
Yeah.
What technology you use on a regular basis.
Yeah. So,
yeah, because otherwise those numbers are a little high.
Yeah.
For the mobile devices, because if you look back at what they were using, those categories are pretty small.
Right.
So
it's interesting though. I think this paints all of these things paint such an interesting picture of the DJ community.
And I think the mobile devices are being used as backup sources or to drop something in. I mean, the iPad, I know that my boys are using those as samplers for what they're doing, and to be able to drop samples in during their shows.
What's Shaney? What's the one thing that goes along the app that goes along with Serato that you can put it off to the side and tie it in?
Pyro, is that the one you're talking about, or Pulse Locker? That one?
No. It's an effects unit, because I had an iPad 2 that my friend Mark bought off of me that he runs next to his Serato program with Serato vinyl. And it's an effects unit where he'll bring and do effects on the pad live as he's spinning Serato vinyl. I can't think of the name of the app, but that can be tied into that. And John, how many DJs doing weddings maybe do a second room of sound using only like an iPad or something?
Exactly. I mean, I know I've done it numerous times.
Yeah. Serato Remote. Thank you. Sean put Serato. I couldn't think right now. Serato Remote. Thank you.
If you've not seen it, it's kind of neat.
It's really cool. Yeah.
I think, well, if you buy a $3,000 mixer, you have a lot of the stuff on the $3,000 mixer.
Right.
But if you can't afford a $3,000 mixer, adding that onto the site, like I said, I watched Mark do it, and it was really cool to just watch him to work this. He actually had it mounted next to his thing to where he could grab it quickly as he's mixing, and it was really cool. Moving on here, which would you describe your DJ skill level? Complete beginner, new to DJing. DJ before, but new to digital. Confident, but still learning. Highly proficient. John, I'm putting everybody on the spot. Where would you fill this out? Of those four, there's the only four you get to choose from.
Oh, that's the only four.
I would probably do the confident but still learning myself.
Dan?
Same.
Shaney?
I'm going to say confident but still learning, because I still learn every single day. And I mean, yeah, I could say I'm highly proficient, but I consider myself always learning. So that's the one I would do.
I would probably write in something, and it's probably something like
there is no writing. You just said to us, these are the only ones to choose from.
I know,
those are your exact words.
I know. It's pushing. So, I would pick something like I'm unnecessarily intricate in my mixing now. I probably would pick confident but still learning, even though there's some days I feel highly proficient. There's other days I feel like a complete beginner. Oh my gosh, there are days where I'm like, am I really getting paid to do this? I suck, But I don't know. It's interesting. So confident but still learning. I think there was a lot of humble people there answering, and a lot of people boasting. I think people were lying up and lying down there. Maybe you think.
Yeah.
Anyways. What social media do you use regularly? I don't use social media. Who is this? What alien filmed this out?
The person that's still figuring out what kind of equipment they need.
The one that said they were new DJ before, but new to digital.
You don't use social media, but yet again, you can find your way to a website and a
They emailed it.
Because they want to try to win some free swag.
They wrote it down on a piece of paper and mailed it into Gibraltar.
How does that even go there? That's where his office is at. Yeah. Facebook, I would say that's pretty accurate, because even though a lot of the other stuff, like Shaney, I'm going to say how my reaction with social media is, and I want to see what everybody else's is. I do a lot of advertising, what I would call advertising about events on Facebook. Get a decent amount of reaction. I do the exact same amount on Twitter, get almost no reaction, but do the same thing also on Instagram and get a pretty good reaction, like almost as Facebook. Where do you guys see the stuff that you put out, reactions to stuff you post? Anyone?
I probably get I get higher numbers on. Well, here's the thing, and it's always like, I know it's that social media course where you have to figure out when to post things, so when people see them, because that's that whole issue too. You don't want to post it at 10 in the morning, on a certain day if you think everyone's going to be sleeping or this and that, as compared to if you're spinning in a club. Do you post it, in the afternoon, or do you post it at the beginning of the evening to let people know where you're spinning? So that comes to play a lot. But I probably get more numbers on Facebook and Instagram, and then I'll just do a quick little Snapchat shout out to let people know, like, hey guys, if you need somewhere to, get your drink on and drop it like it's hot, come see me, blah, 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 hit me up. And yes, exactly. So I'll do like a quick little Snapchat, because Snapchat is, it's not like I have like 1,000 followers on Snapchat or anything, but I'll definitely post it Instagram and Facebook so people can tag each other on Instagram and things like that.
That's where I say mine with the Facebook, and that when I'm able to tag a business that I'm doing something at, that's where I think I get good reactions.
Right.
Yeah, you do a lot of like private events. Where does that fill in with you and your customers?
I don't use Twitter. I don't really use, I don't post to YouTube. I'm starting to get a little bit better with Instagram, and I do have it all tied together. So if I do post on Instagram, it goes to Facebook and Twitter, but I don't purposely like do anything really. And I don't have a Snapchat. So, it's really I guess the biggest reaction I get is Facebook, but even that I don't use it like I should. That's my own fault. I know that, but
John, not as the owner of Disc Jockey News, putting out news stories, but as your business as a DJ, where do you fill in with this?
Facebook is certainly the way to go. And Facebook has been so active and aggressive with some of the things that they have been rolling out. One of which, and I will take a little tangent here, is Facebook is taking a square shot at Craigslist right now. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this.
Marketplace.
But this is only on your cell phone. I'll just pop it up here and show you guys what I'm referring to, because I can do that because it's a tangent and we haven't had one for a while. So we got we're on our cell phone, and right down here in the middle of your phone is the little marketplace area. I got to go to a different screen here. Hang on a sec. And that little area allows you to go and basically get listings from a lot of the groups that are having selling things. What is happening is people are using this, and if somebody contacts you, you can go and look at a Facebook profile instead of a contact on Craigslist. Craigslist has had so many issues with people posting crap, a vehicle that you can buy for, $100, and you got to send them the money by wire, and then they'll have it shipped to you, that kind of crap. Facebook has changed. There are people who now have changed their business, their jobs, their occupations because of that app here in the last about 4 weeks. I've got a couple of friends who are like, yeah, we're quitting our job because we are selling so much stuff using that I think we can make a run for it, because they've been doing things on Craigslist for a while as a side income.
Is it just merchandise, or is it services?
No, just merchandise right now. And what's cool about it is that it's only available for those of you over 18. So all these kids are on Facebook. They can't access it, which is a good thing because it helps to keep that potential customer clear. But this past weekend, Lori and I were looking at a couple of things, and there were things that we were contacting them. And what's nice is that you message the people and it goes right to them. It isn't this filtered folder thing. It goes right to them. We were contacting them within minutes of them posting it, and it was gone already.
Oh, wow.
It was gone already. And it's like crazy how quickly and actively. So
both regional so like you could look for something regional, like
yes. Yep, you could do a sort. Yep, you could do a sort by looking for distance and such, or I could go set it to like a Minneapolis search and do it down there. But why that's important for our information is that is going to bring a lot of people who maybe are casual users of Facebook. That's going to bring them back in. I'll go in the house tonight, and I'm sure Lori will give me an update of what she found this afternoon. And she's not a huge Facebook user, but it fits into her niche, and she being able to go check out people's profile and see that they're a real person has a much higher comfort level. So Facebook is really pushing themselves forward. And you looked at that list, Snapchat was very low. And what Facebook is doing is letting Instagram fight Snapchat with their aspects that they're adding there. So in the long period, I think you're going to see Twitter basically become Donald Trump's world, and the rest of us are going to be elsewhere. Basically, Donald Trump and the news organizations and a couple of athletes who don't know any better. You're going to have Facebook that is going to be evolving into something. It won't look the same as it does today or tomorrow, but it's going to be this evolution of a different community. YouTube as MJ was mentioning earlier, is going to have some evolution as they become a paid for model. The YouTube Red was a success enough that they're going to be looking at more ways to get you to basically subscribe and buy into services there, taking a note from Amazon and Amazon Prime. That was obviously a big thing. So it's an interesting time. But I think in a couple of years that chart, Facebook is going to stay as strong. I think you're going to see YouTube growing, probably staying ahead of Instagram. But I think Snapchat will be very small in a couple of years. And Twitter, Twitter's financially hurting right now, and they just can't figure out how to right the ship. So there's
the whole science here, I think, in my opinion, about whether you're reaching mass markets, whether you're reaching an audience that knows you, or whether you're reaching just friends.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's, like, in fact, I wasn't supposed to work Saturday night. I ended up working Saturday night, and I posted, and I made sure it was public on my Instagram and Facebook where I was going to be. And actually a couple of people came up to me and said, that's what we do on the weekends is we look, to see what DJs we like are spinning. And that's how we got here, because we saw your post. So thank you. And I thought about that. And I was like, oh, there you go. Like, I need to keep posting that so I can bring the crowd in and everything. So I definitely think with social media, if you're doing it the right way for the right reasons, it's definitely going to, help out.
I'm waiting for the day when Facebook has the Instagram capability where I can switch an account by clicking click, and I'm on the new account. So that way I can have a John Young personal page that is my real, my friends that are people I've actually sat down and talked with live once.
You can do that on the web version.
Yeah, I want it on the mobile phone.
Yeah, the web version's easy because I use that a lot, to where I'm just switching, where I'll post something on the motorcycle site and post something on the Disc Jockey News, and then post something on the Rewind Report, and then post something on my own, and it's just a drop and a pop.
Yeah, exactly. And that works pretty well there. And I'm waiting for that when it's all in one. Because on Instagram, that's so, which account would you like to go to? Click, boom, there. Yeah. Okay, now share, boom. And it goes out to all the Twitter feeds that it's supposed to.
You could do one browser and one app.
Or you could use either, I'm blanking on names now. My mind has just left me. BlueStacks or Droid4X, and run a total mobile thing on your computer. That's all detailed. We got much more to go through here. Yeah. We're almost out of time. What software do you use? Serato's at the top by far. Tractor Pro, which surprised me, is the second, but it kind of does that. Virtual is third. I told you a bunch of people use Ableton before.
Yeah.
Lots of people use it. Recordbox, Shamey. Do you see that going up or down?
I have no comment right now.
Okay. Tractor. I'm surprised that Tractor is this low. I know lots of people that's Tractor DJ. Tractor DJ and Tractor Pro.
Tractor Pro, right. DJ 2.
Which it's what company puts that out?
Algorithm.
Algorithm, yeah.
Yeah.
I see them growing because of that whole mobile market, the whole next generation who don't own computers, that own tablets and pads. I think that's gonna grow that way. And Mix Vibes is another one it's an older one, and they're struggling, but I think it's kind of interesting.
The one that's somewhat surprising is Mix, MIXX.
They're still around.
MIXXX. No, not that they're still around.
No Scratch Live on there.
That was the weird thing that I still know a lot of people that use Scratch Live.
I still use it.
They don't it just works for me.
I used it Saturday. I'm not gonna lie, I totally used it Saturday.
Yeah.
I wonder if that just got lumped in.
Probably.
They didn't even put it up because it's not supported.
Tractor DJ didn't get lumped together.
There must
but they both exist independently and supported independently, right?
But even the younger DJs now, they won't even know from Scratch Live. Like if they didn't have it before, they wouldn't even know.
Unless you bought a controller that it came with free.
Right. That came with the Serato DJ. They would no clue what was. In fact, somebody came up to me and asked me what the program was on Saturday when he came in the DJ booth. He's like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Serato." And he's like, "That's not Serato." And I was like, "It's." Yeah, it is. It's Scratch Live. I was like, I was having a problem with my Rain box. I'm like, I had to switch it out. So I'm using Scratch Live. He's like, I don't know what that is. I was like, did you want to request a song, bro? Like, why are you here? Get out of my booth.
Your one question's done. Bye-bye.
Right, bye-bye. Get out of my booth.
All right, which of these download stores do you currently regularly use? Beatport, TrackSource, Juno, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon Digital Music, and other. Somebody gave me an iTunes gift card, so I will be using that soon for Christmas. I haven't used it yet, so I'm not gonna lie.
I use iTunes when I need like that for my mobile events, for that crazy weird song that the client requests, that I'm just gonna have to pull it off of iTunes, and it's gonna go in that folder that I can't say the name of it on air, that I call it, because that's the folder that just takes up space on my hard drive. And I just the piece of crap folder. Yeah. But I mean, that's what I use iTunes for, when I need just that weird one song that I can't find.
Just to smooth the playing field out there, I do have a folder called hipster crap too. Just I don't want to offend multiple people. There is a hipster crap there.
Nice.
Any thoughts on this one, guys?
I would have thought. I would have thought Amazon would have been a little bit higher. At least Track Source, Juno. I'm not recognizing either of those. Maybe that's just me.
Track Source is huge. Have you ever used Amazon Digital Music, Dan? Because by you saying that you thought it would be higher is because you haven't used it. It's not fun to use.
Yeah, it's cumbersome.
Wait a minute. We're talking about downloading from their site, right?
Yeah, most of the time you don't own a hard copy, so I can't download it to my phone, transfer it over to my computer. It works a little differently. It's a pain in the butt, Amazon Digital Music.
Yeah. Are we talking? We're talking different than going to Amazon and buying the digital track.
Well, Amazon, you would go through their digital music site, which is part of Amazon.
Yeah.
Which is what I use almost every single time that I don't have something on my pool. I go to Amazon. I hate iTunes.
I've not had good luck with it, so I'm glad you do.
I just every time I go there, I just say download to my computer and open up my folder. There it is.
That's good. Maybe I need to give it another try.
Give me a call. I'll walk you through it. You've walked me through enough stuff. I'll help you out.
Oh, excellent, because I'm a Prime member, so darn it, I better put it to use. All right, moving on. Which of these streaming services do you put to use? I know I was other because I'm a digitally imported person, but I'm really, really thinking about going to Spotify. Just because there's so much there, and I believe that it's going to, just like it's starting to be integrated into other things, I think that that's going to be, what software is it integrated into now? I can't even remember.
Spotify's into a few. I think DJ is one of them, I think.
So I see them being a bigger player in the future.
I don't see a none on there.
Yeah, that'd be me. That's me right now.
Yeah, I don't.
Because I don't really. I need to start using my
almost 100% of what I listen to is streamed. There's almost maybe 2% of the time I'm not listening to something streamed.
No Pandora's on there. No,
yeah, there's no Pandora. I use that when I work out.
I'm digitally imported almost all the time. So
no iHeart.
No iHeart.
Yep. Yeah, no iHeart.
But it's interesting. Like I said, I wouldn't have expected like Deezer. That has to be UK.
I wouldn't know that. I don't know what Deezer.
I've used a couple that are listed and you mentioned, and my problem with it is that I was raised in that, the 80s and 90s when you listened to FM radio, and I just miss not hearing the same song every hour on the hour.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I have a friend in the business, and he told me that they do a thing what's called dashboard programming. And the idea is how long it takes the average person to get in their car, drive to their destination, and get out. They want to hit you with your favorite song and a commercial in that time. So if you're in there for an hour and you come back out, you're going to hear that same song because they know that's a popular song, and they're going to rotate it into that time period. You get into your car, drive to a place, get out. So, and that's why I've been listening to streaming radio for 10 years. I couldn't even tell you last time I had a terrestrial radio station on ever, just because I don't want to hear a human being speak, and I can just skip tracks and all that kind of stuff. All right, moving on. Do you use a streaming media service? There we go.
There's our answer, Shani. So maybe that again was a subset.
Right, exactly. We didn't know the next one.
I didn't get that one, but that's funny that they put the two together there. So, but anyways, how long have you been DJing? This one I think was different last year, John, if I'm correct. Just started. There's a whole bunch there. They didn't put haven't DJ'd yet, Dan. We don't have a haven't DJ'd
Still
yet.
waiting for my equipment.
Still waiting for my equipment. 5+ years. That's pretty. I don't know. I see a lot of cats get in the game for 5 years or less and then get married and have kids and kind of walk away from it for a bunch, But that would be if they came back into it. maybe later on. Any thoughts on that before we move on?
Yeah, about
What type of DJ are you? Now, the next two are the ones I think they're important. What type of DJ are you? Just for fun. There's a lot of people in that just for fun. Mobile wedding is very large. Lounge, club, bar, club resident was smaller than I thought it would be. Touring DJ, that's about right, maybe. DJ producer, everybody is a DJ producer nowadays. If you're not producing songs, what's wrong with you? Competition battle DJ, I think there's a lot of cats that probably check that aren't.
Oh
yeah, showdown.
I love it.
Showdown. And then other. So it is showing there's a lot of people who do weddings, John. I mean, that surprised me that was higher than like lounges, club, bar thing, you know. And I didn't expect just for fun to be that big either.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the bedroom. That's just doing it for fun. That's just not actually doing it in public.
Yeah. Interesting. All right, moving on. What type of DJ do you want to be? So now we're going from just for the largest one was mobile wedding, and second would have been a tie between just for fun, lounge and bar, to the largest being DJ producer, second largest touring, third just for fun. So there are many people out there who aspire to only DJ for fun. There is happy to be a bedroom DJ that's high up on there.
What? Yeah. Okay.
The mobile wedding is the third from the smallest in what you want to be, but what you are, it's the biggest.
That's funny.
Which I think is accurate. I think those two are quite accurate.
Wait, go back once real quick.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
See, I'm guessing that like school dance,
Yeah, okay.
School dance would be the mobile world there, which is again interesting because there's so many people who, I love doing teen events. Yeah, the reality, I think this is probably a very accurate assessment of the age group and crowd that they attracted for the survey.
Yeah, but I think it's the mobile weddings. That's what most of us do, but most of us don't want to be that.
Yeah, we do them, but we hate ourselves for doing them.
Which I go back to the whole thing is that there's a lot of DJs who are wedding DJs that only DJ weddings because they either can't mix or, like me, they've gotten old and the clubs don't want an old dude.
Yeah. So let's do the chicken dance.
Or like me, that are both old and can't mix. No, I'm kidding. And this one, I threw this in here at the end. They did a study of groups that toured, any kind of musical anything that toured, and the top two most miles were DJs. So Tiesto and PVD have put more miles on than Dylan, Metallica, Aerosmith, the Stones, U2, all of them. So
interesting.
That kind of shows you that we're a rock star now. You know, it goes back to what my friend said, that I do multiple days a week, what other people dream their whole life to do once. So I've said this to DJs before, get off your high horse. Our job is considered in the luxury department, not as in the necessity department. I love what we do. Keep doing it. Be passionate about it, but don't get a big head thinking that the world will stop if you go, I'm not DJing today. That's my thought. Anyone else? We were way over our hour, but we had a lot to cover. And I think it was awesome. It was awesome.
Just checking the chat room here.
Chat room.
Half the time when everything was shared, I couldn't see the chat room. So if you guys said anything to me personally, I'm sorry.
You gotta click.
I just answered for you, Dan.
Yeah.
Thank you. I trust you. If MJ was doing it, I don't know.
No, I answered for you.
I'm looking. I didn't get the answer. I was looking over
there really wasn't too much. They're just making comments and sharing, their where they fit into the category and such. So
definitely, again, if you have ideas, send them our way. I'm just grabbing these as they come along. I think we do good. Our last week's numbers, I would just like to say, what video on Disc Jockey News had the most hits last week?
A replay of mine. I'm just kidding.
This show, we had over 500 people watch our show last week.
Nice.
We were the first. And I love you guys for tuning in. Keep tuning in, and we want you to be a part of what we're doing. So send ideas, give us things. Shane's throwing up the big heart for those of you listening to the audio only.
What did we talk about last week?
it was verses. So I think we need to do that show.
Talked about a cornucopia of ideas.
We did.
That's true. We said, where do we fit in between the different styles? And we got there eventually.
Our topic last week was tangent.
Yes, tangents. How quickly can you get on one and get off one? Yes, go.
The Shaney hour, Reggie once.
We did that. Well, it wasn't an hour that John and I did. I don't think it was it an hour? I don't know if it was an hour.
I think we did one. It was about the 12 days of Christmas we had.
Oh yeah, we did 12 days of Christmas.
That was longer.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Well, gang, we're going to wrap things up. Thank you for watching tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night. We've got Ben Stowe. Ben Stowe is actually going to be taking questions that I've gotten from a few of you that are pertaining to setting up a podcast. He's at the Personas headquarters today and tomorrow, and he's getting things lined up to broadcast about how to set up your podcasting world with some of the Personas gear, which is what we use here in the studio. Yes, the night that everything died, that was not Personas over there. That was a different company, but it is Personas now. I learned my lesson. So that's tomorrow night. Brian Red will be there. And then Wednesday night, we'll be back with our Socially Mobile and MJ. We're going to be talking about some of the cool things that we can do with the software and controller and demonstrating
all the different things that work with the slip effect.
Slip effect.
Slip effect. And then I want to talk a little bit about some of that on-the-fly re-drumming things a little bit and touch base with that because I was playing with that a little bit more the other day.
And make me do work for Wednesday.
I'm going to ask questions. It's like, who can I stump MJ? So once again, thank you guys for watching tonight. We will catch you tomorrow night. Good night, everyone.